point. I fucking hate Cole Beasley, and I don't really know why. I just don't like him.
Is it the golden locks?
I think so.
It might be the golden locks.
I think it's got something to do with the golden locks. I think it's got something to do with the fact that sometimes he forgets that he's like a 5'9" white dude. I just think that he needs to get taken down a peg. He's way too much swag.
Looking at this list, I think one of my sleeper signings this year for somebody would be Jared Cook. The tight end, the tight end for Oakland.
Okay.
Jared Cook silently had a really good season last year. And he's a really good tight end. I just think he just needs to be in the right situation. Because Oakland, they got John Gruden and kind of just said, fuck it. We're just going to tank.
We're just going to...
Yeah, we're just going to fuck our team. And
we're just going to set the Madden GM settings to rookie and just trade everything
pretty
away.
Much. So they're in complete rebuild mode and getting ready for Las Vegas. I'm trying to think of like a team... What team is just like a tight end away from having like one of those complete offenses? Maybe like what?
Packers.
Green Bay, yeah, Green Bay.
The last time that Aaron Rodgers had a sufficient tight end was, I think, Jermichael Finley. And was that Super Bowl year?
I believe so.
And so I think I put a lot of stock in the tight end position. I think that is a really good safety valve to have for quarterbacks, and especially the younger quarterbacks, which is why I'm very happy Charles Clay's gone from the Bills. You know, we shed that salary, and he sucked. he was fucking terrible.
Jared Cook on the Packers. I think he played for the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but yeah, I think that didn't the Packers sign fucking Jimmy Graham?
Yeah, they did.
What happened?
He just didn't do anything because you know what? I took him in fantasy. I'm sitting there with the biggest grin on my face because I'm sitting there nice and tight in the 8th round. I'm like, all right, fuck. Eric took Gronk in the 2nd round. Moron. He's going to put up 14 a week and get hurt in week 15. He's not even going to be able to use him for the playoffs. And I'm licking my lips, and I take Jimmy Graham, and he sucked. He didn't do anything. And to be fair, none of the tight end position this year was really that great outside of a few, like Kittle. Kittle was pretty decent.
Yeah, Kittle. You had Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey
balled out.
Yeah, Ertz.
Ertz. Those are pretty much the top 3.
Yeah, and then like you get Ground sprinkled in and out. You know, he has his good weeks, he has his bad weeks, but he's just deteriorating at this point, and we don't know if it's from all the hits or if it's from all the booze. Who knows?
All right. Clowney, where do you think he goes?
To be honest, I don't really have a clue.
What's a good fit for him in your opinion, if you had to take a guess? Like not necessarily where you think he would go, but where would you like to see him?
I would like to see him in a position where the I don't want to say the Rams because the Rams are an easy cop-out, but sort of like a team that's sort of built like the Rams where they're decent at cornerback. They're not great, but they have inside presence that other teams are going to have to pay attention to because Jadeveon Clowney, he's not on the same level as Mario Williams when he was going to become a free agent and the Bills signed him. But, he's an athletic specimen. He's a specimen. And so if you put him in a position where it's not just 5 offensive linemen with all of their attention towards him, I think that would be a good fit for him.
Ultimately, Jadeveon stays in division. Yeah. And I think he goes to Indy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
they got a lot of cap space.
Yeah, the Colts got a lot of money. That defense was very suspect and got exposed in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Indy's been doing a really good job. They rebuilt that offensive line, which it became literally probably the best one in the NFL with fucking Nelson at guard.
Quentin Nelson just ate people.
He's a rookie guard and he's probably the best offensive lineman in the NFL right now.
He's so good.
Right. And so he literally transferred, and then they had a 2nd round pick that played really well as a tackle too.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why I think that the Bills being where they are in the draft this year, I think they're 9th. I'm not really worried about the type of talent that they're going to be exposed to because Quentin Nelson, before the draft, everybody was like, this kid's an all-pro. You cannot miss on this kid.
Right.
Everybody knew he was the most surefire thing in that draft. And they picked 6th, and so 5 players went before him because It's a quarterback-driven league. You
Right.
want playmakers. So you know that even though your team might be sitting in that 7 to 12 range, that there are going to be teams that either try and jump you or that try and trade with you, so that way they can go up and get a quarterback.
I've always been one of those people because offensive lineman, whenever your team drafts an offensive lineman in the first round, it's not a sexy pick.
No, it's
not a quarterback. It's not a corner. It's not a receiver. It's not a running back. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know. I've always felt good about it.
Yeah, no, there's a certain sense of comfort with it because most of the time, at least for me growing up as like a casual football fan, before I started to get more in depth with it, I was just like, I don't know these names.
Right.
But like when you give me a rookie and a top pick, I'm like, okay, now I know someone on the offensive line. Maybe I pay attention more to them.
Yeah, I love it. Like I'm hoping my Ravens we go draft offensive line heavy in this draft. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, shout out to the O linemen. They don't get enough love. Shout out to the fat guys. But
shout out to the fat guys. Going
on a tangent again, but fuck it. Clowney, I think he stays in division. I think the Colts pay him if Houston don't franchise tag him. Let's talk a little bit offense. Le'Veon Bell. He tweeted, "Free at last." Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last.
And that's probably what his scale was saying right after he hopped off of it. The man's on the Calvin Benjamin diet right now.
Yeah, it was reported that Le'Veon weighed up to 260 pounds. This dude basically where I'm at. Like, I don't play football though, but shit, like, bro. Man, hopefully it's not true, man, because I would hate for that to happen.
I think that coming from a division rival too, I think it would be cool to see him on the Jets. I think that gives Darnold a little bit of safety valve, to check down to, not only pump them numbers up, but give them a little more confidence. I mean, sometimes as an athlete in whatever sport that you're in, sometimes you just need to see that first one go in. Yeah. You want to see that first pass completed. You want to see that first bucket go in. You want to see your first goal. Whatever sport that you're engaging in, I think that improves your confidence. And I don't hate the Jets like I hate the Patriots or the Dolphins, but I would like to see Sam Darnold succeed. So that would be my ideal landing spot for him.
I think that's pretty much like, if I had to bet money on any free agent going anywhere, is Le'Veon to the Jets.
Yeah,
I think that's like a far gone conclusion. They got like the number one cap space in the NFL, or damn near, and they need a running back. They got a young quarterback. It's in New York. I think they make that move.
I got a question for you now.
What's up?
Nick Foles.
Ooh, Nick Foles. So he's the number one quarterback in this free agency market,
Big
right?
Dick Nick.
I think everybody's saying Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I had Joe Flacco going to Jacksonville, being traded to him, but then now he's going to Denver.
I still didn't talk to you about that. How fucking happy are you that his contract's gone?
Yeah, man, that feels good. I did a podcast with my man Matt Johnson, the 2 Point Conversation. Shout out to Matt, and I talked about that for a little bit. And like I said, appreciate everything that Joe Flacco's done for my franchise, but the future is Lamar. Like I've seen the future. And
it's not Joe.
I love it.
Yeah. It's not Joe.
We had with Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck John Elway is doing. He just recycles veteran quarterbacks.
There's an ongoing conspiracy theory that John Elway is trying to make sure he's the best quarterback in Broncos history. So he just keeps trading for shit quarterbacks.
I mean, when he traded for Peyton Manning, that was a good trade. Because
everybody wanted Peyton Manning though that year,
right?
Like I remember Tennessee wanted him. Like there were
49ers.
Teams, there were teams that wanted him. A little bit of a side note: shout out to Blake Bortles. I know that we're talking about Nick Foles maybe going to the Jags, but I listened to a Blake Bortles interview. And he just seems like the coolest fucking dude in the world.
Yeah,
they were like, oh well, like you're not gonna be on the Jags this upcoming year, right? And he's like, pretty much I drive to the stadium every day to, work out, rehab, condition. He's like, the first thing you do is you type in your unique player code. He's like, so every day it's just like a little adrenaline rush, like, oh my God, is this code going to work or not? And they were like, yeah, so like, what are your plans? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe the AAF needs a quarterback. Like, he's got a really good sense of humor.
Yeah, I like that.
And so,
I like that.
I think it's cool to be able to see an athlete who doesn't take himself so seriously. Obviously, when he's out there, he competes. He gives us some of the best, worst highlights of all time. So I will forever appreciate Blake Bortles for his personality and his terrible throwing motion.
Nick Foles goes to the Jaguars. Blake Bortles get cuts. It's pretty. I think it's almost. That's another one that's going to be like a conclusion there.
Blake Bortles, if you want a job at Ingram Micro, I can't guarantee it, but I can send you a job invite and I can put in a good word for you.
Shout out to Ingram Micro. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
All right. Bet.
Shout out to a real company. Shade your way, former employers.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I didn't have to do him like that.
It's mad shade.
I didn't have to do him like that.
Yeah, we got a listener from that place too, man. Shout out to my man Yeezy F.
That's Yeezy.
Whoever signed CJ Mosley, first of all, Baltimore, you better resign CJ Mosley.
Yeah.
Pay that man. He deserves his money. Pay that man. He should be the top paid inside linebacker in the league next to Luke Kuechly. Pay that man his money.
He's a good player.
Just looking at this list as well, another sleeper pick I think will be Ezekiel Ansah. He's been hurt over the last few seasons, but when he's healthy, he puts up numbers. I think anybody that pays him are going to get a very good pass rusher. And for receivers, another sleeper one I have is John Brown. I think he ultimately follows Joe Flacco and goes to Denver.
Okay. I got a question for you. Who is the Colts running back?
Mack.
Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack,
that's right. So he's not really established. He's
good.
He is good.
Yeah, he's really good.
I see them getting one of the two running backs in Mark Ingram or Tevin Coleman who are used to splitting workloads.
I can see that.
Because like we've already said, they have the cap space. But there were times where Marlon Mack, I don't want to say the stage looked too big for him because, he's a professional athlete. He played in college, which is pretty much like the professional. In some places, they have a higher following for that college than they do their professional team. So I don't want to say that about him. But I think that there's an opportunity there for a Mark Ingram or a Tevin Coleman to come in and switch up the pace a little bit.
I hope people stay like this. Speaking of Mark Ingram, people are projecting him to come to Baltimore. I pray we don't sign him.
No,
nothing against Ingram. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just seem like he's going to be one of those players that like a team's going to sign him to big money, and he's not going to be good.
Makes sense.
Like I think like the Saints offense kind of makes him look better than what he is.
Yeah.
He had a resurgence because when he started off at the Saints, he had a couple of rough seasons, and then he turned it around big time. And then hit that 1-2 punch between him and Alvin Kamara is great. I hope he stays with the Saints. I just kind of hope he doesn't come to the Ravens is basically the whole thing. But yeah, that's pretty much free agency there. We should start seeing some moves. Free agency officially begins March 12th.
Yep. When
the new league kicks in. Teams will have their franchise players intact by then. So we should see some big money being shelled out. It seems like every off season, some team is the free agency winner, and then usually that team doesn't do shit.
Yep. Usually.
So we'll probably see that some more often. Besides the Rams. The Rams spent big money last offseason, got to the Super Bowl, but
then forgot how to play football.
Yeah, what I didn't even talk to you since the Super Bowl. Like, what did you think about that? Was that
I won a lot of money on the Super Bowl.
Okay, so you enjoyed it.
I hit the over on the anthem. I foolishly bet the over for the game. Hit the over Julian Edelman, receptions and yards. I hit out plus 750, a $10 bet for $75 of return. That the Gatorade was blue when they dumped it on Bill Belichick.
Nice.
The favorite was green. I was there more so for the betting. I definitely did not want to see the New England Patriots win another Super Bowl. I think everybody with a pulse outside of Massachusetts can say that. But I was totally expecting more from the Rams. I think that the Super Bowl should have been Chiefs Saints.
Yes.
And I think that would have been
way more enjoyable.
So much more enjoyable. And I probably would have hit the over.
Yeah, definitely.
I fucking hated that game, dude.
Yeah, that game.
It was so frustrating to watch because it was good defensive football. You cannot be mad about that game. Both of those coaches, both of those defensive coordinators game plan the fuck out of that game.
Right.
But at the same time, that's not what puts asses in the seats, as they say.
Yeah, my whole argument with it was like no exciting plays.
No,
it was no